the original multi-club fan channel. Make sure you're following us now on Spotify and Apple Podcast. The link is in the description below. Welcome back to the Top 6 show on the eve of Euro 2024. We've got a brilliant panel for you. Well, of course, we're going to be talking about the tournament. We're going to be going through the brackets and who we think is going to win it. Some big transfer stories for us to delve into as well, involving Chelsea, Manchester United. We've got a big one for Spurs fans as well. Champions League winner potentially on his way to Spurs as well. We'll put the Spurs fans down there together so they can be all happy. You don't look very happy today, Henry. What's wrong?
Just Tammy Abraham.
Hang on a minute, Henry. Have you dyed your hair?
Oh, yeah, I have. It's blonde, yeah.
Oh, my God. Get your hat off.
So the thing is, it's going to look white on camera, but it is actually
Get
blonde.
your hat off. Have you done that to look like Kate? Kate
looks like Gaza. I'm getting me, as soon as we speak about England, I'm getting me Gaza shirt on.
Oh, my God. I knew you liked Kate's opinions, but now you've copied her haircut.
Kate's a Gaza fan as well. So
honestly, you could be twins, and what I mean by that is, Henry, you look like a girl. That is what I'm saying there. So I just see it sticking through the little hole, and I was like, he's gone blonde. Do you know what I mean? Or grey.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Welcome.
Come home, so why not?
Paddy, Giuseppe, welcome back to the show, man. Like Dayu. And the Fats is here with us as well today, repping Chelsea. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, actually, yeah. Can't wait for the Euro to get started as well.
Same. It's been horrible 2 weeks without football. So, yes, I'm the same. I cannot wait for it either. I want to start off with a big bit of transfer news. And it isn't Olise to Chelsea. It isn't Ligt to Man United. It's Champions League winner Tammy Abraham potentially going to Tottenham, Kate. You've had Timo Werner. Now you're going for another Chelsea Champions League winner potentially in Tammy Abraham. Talk to us.
I don't even know what to say, Terry. Do you know, I don't know what to say about it. I don't think this can be true. I know I've seen the links, I've read the links. I just don't see this happening. And if it does, I think the meltdown will be even more monumental than the Timo Werner meltdown. I mean, this guy, he's not ripped it up while he's been abroad. It's just, I can't even think of what to say. I've just, every season, I think it's going to be different. This window is going to be different this year. And then we get linked to the likes of Tammy Abraham. And I just don't know. I talked about it in my chat the other day, and I had sort of 40-50% of the people in the chat saying that they'd be quite happy with him. And I'm like, this is probably why we're never actually going to do anything. You know, for me, it's just not good enough. Terrible idea, but I don't see it happening. And that's a lot of hopium in there as well.
I hear that. I mean, there are some Tottenham sort of in the nose that have said, no, this isn't happening. I do remember a lot of Tottenham in the nose also saying, though, Henry, that no way we're going to re-sign Timo Werner, and that ended up happening. Is it worrying? I mean, what is more worrying right now, your hair or the fact that you might be on to Tammy Abraham?
Well, I think my hair's going to look great when I got my Gaza shirt on, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Paul O'Keefe, who's a very reliable in the know, has basically come out and said there's more chance of him signing for Spurs than Tammy Abraham. I've been saying it for a while. We have got a homegrown potential issue coming up with Sessegnon, Spence, Roden, Ollie Skip, a few others being linked to moves away. I mean, apparently he's available for £20 million. I'm not a fan, to be honest. The only thing he could add that we don't have is we've actually got someone who can head the ball up front. Like Richarlison's he's a bit of a workhorse, but he's gone over to Italy. He had a good campaign when they won the Conference League. He was instrumental to that success. But since then, he had a big injury this season. I think he only played 6 games in the league. I think he had a ligament injury. I'm not a fan. I'd rather us go for another striker out there. But if Tottenham, you know, don't get an Eze and win it, or don't get an attacking midfielder or Conor Gallagher, we're going to have to bring an English player in. And this is probably one of the reasons why we're linked to Tammy Abraham. But I strongly think it will not happen. And I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it might not. It might. Giuseppe, you're sitting there laughing. Talk to us.
Do you know what the thing is? Like, Tammy Abraham, 20 million. I don't think it's the worst bit of business ever if Tottenham were to go and sign an actual star striker, and say they bought Ollie Watkins, and then they said, you know what, let's add someone a bit different. Let's add Abraham as well. Then it's not too bad. But I actually see it happening. I see Tottenham actually signing him and him being their like main striker. They've gone from Harry Kane to Tammy Abraham. I mean, at least one of them's won a trophy. So
2 trophies, won multiple trophies.
2 trophies.
You got a league title.
yeah. So listen, it might not happen, but there's never no smoke without fire, as they say. So there must be something in the works. As you said, it might be the England thing, but who else are Tottenham really going to sign when you look at the striker market right now? When you're seeing teams like Arsenal and stuff struggling for a striker, and let's be honest, we're definitely got more pull than Spurs right now. So if bigger
I don't
teams,
think Arsenal need a striker though. I just think you need another wide player who can contribute. Like, you scored 91 goals in the league. We actually need a striker. Like, we've got Richarlison, who somehow broke his pubic bone and was out for, a month. We don't have any. If Son's not, in form, we don't have anyone in our front line that can get 15, 16 Premier League goals a season, other than Son. We're crying out for someone.
It's right in front of you, mate. Tony. Tony's right in front of you.
They want 60, 70 million. Apparently, we've only got 120 million to spend. And that's pushing every single boundary. We're not going to drop half of it on Tony.
I will say this about the money that everybody keeps claiming their clubs have got to spend. I feel like it's misinformation. And what I mean by that is, yeah, there's 120 million to spend, but you don't spend all of it in one summer. That's what you've got available. It's amortized. So 50, 60 million pound can get you 200 million pounds worth, 250 million pounds worth of players. If you sign a player if you sign him for 60 million pound is what Ivan Toney is going to cost. If you put him on a 5-year deal, what's that costing you? 12 million. This summer it's costing you 12 million pound. So you've got the money. I honestly think I am so shocked that more teams are not beating down the door for Ivan Toney. You got
to think that.
I understand it.
But we need to bring another left back.
But Terry, the thing about that is sometimes even on those 5-year deals, the club might ask for a chunk of the 60 million upfront first in the first year and then spread the rest of the cost. And that first chunk might be what might be big. They might say, okay, here's the deal. We want 35 million right now. And then the rest of the 25 million.
That, but then what you do though, Dio, is you come to our department of the bank, which is the football finance department, and you borrow the 60 million pound from the bank. You pay it straight out to Brentford, and then you pay it off in installments to the bank. Yes, there's interest to pay on that, but it's very small at that level of lending. So there's other ways around that as well. They're not, and all these clubs can borrow money. I don't think.
But if they also borrow,
the issue.
If they borrow as well at the end of the financial year, doesn't that count towards their losses as regards to what you're owing as a debt? So that means your 105 that you have to do over 3 years, which you cannot exceed, might be exceeded in
when you borrow money, it depends how your accountant does it. When you borrow money, that also counts. So say you borrow 60 million debt, but it also counts as 60 million that comes into your business. So it shows up as a creditor. There's no doubt. So that does go on there, but so does every other transfer that you put onto your book. So I do agree that can happen where they want the money up front. But I just feel I'm not even talking Spurs specifically. I'm shocked. Arsenal, United have got him on their list according to reports. But Chelsea are looking at Duran. You've got Tammy Abraham linked to Spurs, and you just look, Ivan Toney sitting there, ready and waiting to go. And I almost feel like fans now are making up BS reasons as to why he's not good enough, where a year ago everybody was tripping over to wanting to sign him. I feel there's a bit of I need to make a reason as to why he's not good enough.
Agenda in some ways, isn't it?
I think, in fairness, with him, he had like a very lengthy spell out of the game too, and I think at his age that can have a big impact. And it didn't necessarily come back and set the world alight at Brentford, I wouldn't say. So I think the whole betting scandal in his time out has just hindered his ability a little bit, and I think that plays into people's minds. If he hadn't have had the spell on the sidelines and didn't have the scandal, he would be at one of the big clubs now for a lot of money. So it's a shame for his own personal reasons how it's gone. But I just think he's not the same player he was before the scandal, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think as soon as he came back, you could tell like there's just this was not the Ivan Toney that got banned. I think that's another thing. And
he'll have a pre-season now.
Yeah, and that recency bias as well. Like people are looking at exactly what you're doing right now and saying, if I buy you now, you carry this form into next season, and I have to pay 60 million for you. What if you don't kick off until halfway through the season? Like, you know, there's all of these things to consider. Like, if he was still on form like the way he was before he was banned, I guarantee you, even Brentford right now will still be holding on to their 80 million. Forget the ban, they will still be holding on to their 80 million because of his form. If he had come back and he had scored in every game he played from January up until the end of the season.
I think what Alfie here holds some water. Maybe clubs are worried that you bring him in and then he is, you know, at home sitting there sticking bets on. And you know, I'm not casting any aspersions. I hope he isn't doing that for his own sake more than anybody else. But that would definitely be a risk. You know, it's you know, there's other players that have done much worse things, and when clubs come in to buy them, they've got to be. You know, they've got, you know, if Juve this summer, I'll say it bluntly, if they part with 50 million English pounds to buy Mason Greenwood, there will be a big part of that club hoping and praying that what he did or allegedly did, as I have to say for legal reasons, they'll be hoping there's no repeat performance, because that's a lot of money to invest into somebody that has a huge sort of question mark over their head. Now, I'm not comparing Ivan Toney's situation to the same as Greenwood's in terms of severity, but the risk principle for a football club will remain the same, because you may end up without that player for I mean, if Toney was to get caught again, he might be looking at a 2, 3, 4, maybe even a lifetime ban. So I suppose that's an element that does need to be taken into consideration as well. Other transfer news today. In fact, I want to come straight to you on this, bro. Ornstein dropping, you know, one of his little bombs that Chelsea have made contact with Crystal Palace about signing Michael Olise. Chelsea expressed their interest in the 22-year-old winger and request permission to talk to the players' representation. That's the way round you've got to go first. 60 million release clause. We also know that Newcastle and a few others want to get involved, but it has been stated by Santi that Olise is keen to move to Chelsea. How are you feeling about this deal?
I'm actually delighted with this move, especially his brother is in the academy team, Richard Olise. So he will be an upgrade for Madueke, especially in that right-hand side. And it's going to be interesting as well when he partners up with Cole Palmer and Nkunku on the left as well. So arguably, you got right-wing position already covered. So all that Chelsea needs right now is that we need a new goalkeeper as well, and the 2 centre-backs and maybe a left-back in the market. So I'm not really that worried about this deal. I think we could get it done. It's just getting the paperwork in and also thinking about that release clause. I think Chelsea will pay that eventually at the end. And I'm actually genuinely excited about this player. And the fact that you said about we competing in the likes of Newcastle, and also I heard the Bayern Munich also talking to the player.
Yeah.
Apparently, Man United also trying to sneak in there about with Chelsea. And eventually, I think it's a 2-horse race between Chelsea and United, and I think Chelsea will get over the line.
What are the rest of the panel? We know how good. I mean, Paddy, how good an impact will he have, in your opinion, if Chelsea can pull this off? How good will the impact be? You're on mute, brother.
Sorry. I don't want any heavy breathing while anyone else is talking. You know what I mean? I think, like, you know, you think Darth Vader is going to be in the background. You know what I mean? So, yeah, listen,
Tate likes it, to be fair. So,
I think, he's an unbelievable footballer. Really, really is. And I think if Chelsea get the job done, like I just don't know how they're able to spend money like this. And, you know, it's just, to be Chelsea, they're able to just like splash it about. Fair play to them, honestly. I'm jealous of the rate at which they bring players in. But as a Liverpool fan, I know how, you know, meticulous they are in transfer dealings, and they're never out of these deals. If they're going head to head with anyone, I back them always. They're just dogs. They just get the job done. And, you know, one of the Arsenal fans the other day was talking about one thing he admires about Todd Bowley, if anything, is the fact that, you know, he means business and he gets the work done. So yeah, I think he's going to have enough. If they get him, unbelievable impact. And yeah, I expect them to, because I think Chelsea just throw the money where it needs to be thrown.
They do, and listen, Man United are kind of involved in this deal. We haven't spoke to Crystal Palace yet, according to the reports, but I have very little faith that we will beat Chelsea to the player, because Todd Bowley and co, so far, has anybody beaten, barring when they tried to come in for Rafinha, and that was because Rafinha was just absolutely sold on Barca. I can't think of another example where they didn't win the player in the last 2 years. Chelsea get it. Whether people think it will work at Chelsea or not is irrelevant right now. They seem to always win these battles. So, yeah, I'm as a Man United fan who wants Olise, I'm gutted. I mean, as an individual player, I've said it all along. I think he's better than everyone. It depends on what you consider Cole Palmer to be. If you consider Cole Palmer to be more of a 10, then I think that Olise is better than all the wide players currently at Chelsea. I really in wide positions, I think he's got so much to offer, and it'll be a phenomenal piece of business. And we talk about this a lot. Objectively speaking, we all have an opinion on subjectively who we think is good and bad. The fact that you've got Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, Bayern Munich all wanting Olise, I think it demonstrates his quality. It really, really does.
I've had this debate with other people in terms of the question that if you're in Olise position, which project are you choosing? Either United or Chelsea?
United.
United. I think United obviously are a far bigger club, and I think it's going to be set up better eventually. But I think from Olise's point of view, he gets to stay in London, and I know he's French as well, and there's a French nucleus at Chelsea now as well. So for comfort zone, Chelsea probably, but for career, I think United would be a better choice in my opinion.
I just think there's more competition at Chelsea. Like, I think Man United have apparently got a bid coming in from Juventus for Greenwood. Sancho's up for sale. There isn't anyone to go out on that right-hand side, and Olise could slot in like a glove. At Chelsea, you've got multiple players out there. Madueke, Cole Palmer on the right. Obviously, Olise will probably start, but there's now the hierarchy have come out and said they want Nkunku in the 10. So if Nkunku's in the 10, Palmer's on the right. Does Olise go on the left? Then you've also got Sterling, Madueke. Is a lot more competition at Chelsea. I look at Man United side of things and think, hang on, like that's a match made in heaven. And the hierarchy of United have come out and said they want possession-based football. Whether Ten Hag's going to do that going into next season is a different question. But I think United overall, looking at the fact that Dan Ashworth's going to be, and they've got a different approach, I think United's probably the better move.
Ben Jacobs has stated that Man United are expected to approach Crystal Palace as well, so it's expected to come. Dio, Newcastle, of course, they have a project. They have a group of owners that want to become the best team in England. Yes, they've got some FFP issues, according to some reports. But should they be written off in this race with the direction that they're going in and the sort of the club they hope to be in the years to come?
Writing them off now, I would say don't write them off. But currently, right now, where they are, they have to sell to be able to buy players. Like Newcastle has to balance their books. And that's where they would fall in the pecking order of things. If they don't get anybody out quickly, like I understand they don't want to sell Isak, Bruno Guimaraes. We don't know what the story is anymore. We don't know who he's linked to anymore. Like the big players that they can get rid of really quickly and give themselves a real big buffer where they can then go bid for the players that they want. They're not doing it fast enough. I mean, the window is just about to open. Let me not say they're not doing it fast enough. They probably are having meetings and doing whatever they need to do, but don't write anybody off, especially when the owners have money. If they find a way to balance their books, like do what Chelsea did, which is probably sell some assets and then say, okay, well, we sold this, we now have this, and that can be done in 24, 48 hours. It's signing the deal.
Just do what two other clubs have done and have some fake betting accounts created and sponsor your club.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
have you all seen that today, by the way?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Legitimately, the founder of one of these companies they've got a picture up of her, and she's a dead, God rest her soul, TikToker.
Yeah,
nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah,
they must have learned that Man City.
Back to your Newcastle point. Sorry.
Yeah. So Newcastle, I don't think you should write anybody. You should write them off. The league is becoming more competitive. I mean, barring all this nonsense with all the court cases and all the different accusations, but club wise, a lot of clubs, I think, is going to go from top 6 to top 8. Like this is where we're at now. Villa is in the mix. Newcastle is in the mix. These teams are. People said, oh, they're not going to be there for the next, they're going to be away next season. They'll fall off. They don't look like they want to fall off. And if they buy right, which they can afford to, having players like Guimaraes and Isak on your team already, and you build around those guys, and you buy the right players, they're there. Newcastle
I just think with Newcastle in some ways that I heard the stories about one of the clubs in the Big Six set a trigger a release clause on the Bruno Guimaraes. So I would think that Newcastle would want to prepare to get into the market looking for Guimaraes backup, because I think what I found out from last night is that probably Man City the one that triggered it, but I'm not sure if it comes true yet to the journalists. So they're gonna sell a lot of players. Like Almiron will be gone, Wilson will be gone. So in their mind, like Olise will make more sense. It depends on how serious they are.
They want to sell Almiron as well, Fats. Almiron's on the shopping block, and they're looking to get rid of him. And what an upgrade! What an upgrade on Almiron he would be. Like Almiron had that good 4 or 5 months after the Jack Grealish comments, but he's not. I know Newcastle fans love him, but he isn't the guy that's going to help make Newcastle title contenders. He's not of that ilk. But yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Dad. I don't think you write anybody off at this point. I just look at here. Fabrizio's also put this out according to Abdi here, who I trust. Abdi's a good member of the Terrace. He says Chelsea are on a mission to agree personal terms with Olise, and for Olise to go to Palace and say, I want to go to Chelsea. But I know why Chelsea want to do that as well, because what Palace are probably sitting there licking their lips at now is if you've got 4 teams that are all willing to hit the buyout clause, it depends on how the buyout clause is written. But you may then get teams go, well, we'll pay you, because it sounds like they can say no to people's approach as well, because they have to have permission. So there might be an element of Palace here that will say, okay, you guys can talk to the player, but we're not accepting anyone's bids. If a club comes in and goes 65 million or 70 million, and then that's the one they accept. However, if Olise says, I'm only going to Chelsea, then it changes things. So I think Chelsea's approach is an important one, but Palace are going to be making some moolah out of this one, and they've got loads of clubs interested. So yeah, it's going to be a big in here, and
it depends on who moves quickly.
Yeah,
once the window opens, depends on who moves really quickly. The honest truth is, if you drag it too long, like if Chelsea went up to Palace right now, as soon as the window opens and says, "Here, trigger release clause, we're triggering it," and then Palace is saying, "Oh yeah, well, let's wait for Newcastle to come give us a higher bid. Let Newcastle sell a couple of players," and Newcastle never come, and they drag it on. Eventually, Chelsea then has the bargaining power to be like, "Nobody wants him now because you're waiting for this higher bid, and we had already offered you this, and you refused, so we're going to drop our price and let's renegotiate." Or they just let the deal fall through. So this window looks really messy to me. I feel like whoever moves quickly gets the player that they want. Look at the Sesko deal, for example. Everybody was waiting for him to do something, and what happened? He went back and signed a deal with Leipzig, which nobody expected. Even though we were told 2 weeks ago that Leipzig had given him a new contract and he didn't want to sign it. And then suddenly,
Henry did. Henry predicted it, I think. Didn't you, Henry?
Yeah, I said similar to the Haaland situation when Man United went in. I think he'll stay another year. I think he's actually being advised to stay another year, because he's only had 6 months of a season where he started. Like if you look at his actual numbers, the rest of the time he's come off the bench. So I think he's being advised well.
The interesting thing about Olise as well, sorry, Terry.
Yeah, go on, mate.
I think first of all, I think Newcastle are written off personally, because I think that Olise himself will write Newcastle off. I just think that if all these Chelsea, Man United, Bayern Munich are all coming in for him, himself is never picking Newcastle. Although if he did go to Newcastle, Gordon, Olise, and Isaac as an attack is insane. I think the interesting thing about this is then what happens with Eze, and does that hinder Spurs trying to get Eze? Because
massively.
Are they going to want to sell both players?
Go on, Tammy.
It's more than that.
Go on, Tammy.
Gahey down on a 2 year left in his contract. You've got Wharton being linked to moves away. You've got Mitchell being linked to moves away. Like this, the next 5 to 6 weeks at Crystal Palace is going to be very, very interesting. But I'm going to say it now. Eze's not going Man United. I've already said it. If he leaves, he's only going to one team.
Who mentioned that?
Last night with a little eyes in the chat about...
Why are you projecting? Why are you projecting so much? I didn't mention anything.
You don't need Eze. We do. Other than Maddison, we have no creativity.
Oh, let us have him, please. Let us have him.
We don't need him. Oh no!
You already want to replace
Maddison. Is that your sales pitch? Oh, Eze, please come. We need you. We're rubbish. We're so rubbish. We need you.
1,000,000%.
Are you already replacing Maddison?
Maddison's a bum.
Well, it's uncomfortable conversations because we spoke about this a couple of months ago on here. No one went in for him, and you can kind of see why. I mean, other than the first 10 games, he was brilliant. The whole team were, but after his injury, he had 2 goals between October and May. Now, for your number 10, I don't care what level you're at. You need more creativity than that. And we bought him for his set pieces. I don't think I think we scored 3 goals from set pieces. We were awful at the other end, but we need someone like Eze in there because.
So I don't want to be accused of misrepresenting what you said. Are you saying that he is a flop?
No, but we need to see more. Well, depends how you look at it. What output? If you're spending £40 million on a player who's got a track record of getting double digits for goals and assists the last 3 or 4 seasons in the Premier League, and then gets his big move and gets under 10 goals, do you class that as a flop? I don't know. I'm willing to give him another season or another
you can say the season flopped for him this season, but you can't say the player as a flop himself. Like that would be my argument. Like Maddison he's a class player, but he just had a bad season, riddled with injuries, and you can easily look at that and be like, hey, it is what it is. But if he's fit and he's firing, what he can give you.
You say that,
and everybody, he's got a track record. Everybody knows that. You can't call that player. Yeah, you can't call that player as well.
Because he played in a team where there was teams would come on to him naturally in the way we're playing. Teams are sitting back, so it's like that's into next season. What are you gonna do to change that?
That's the big one, and I think too many football fans ignore that. When you play for a team where most people open up against you, suddenly to a team. Well, I think in the early part of the season, people did open up against Tottenham, and then they realized we couldn't. They sat back a little bit deeper, and for the first time in his career, Maddison's up against lots of low blocks, game in, game out. It's true. And that's the one thing for Eze and both Olise as well, is it's going to be a whole new world when they suddenly move to a big team where everybody's sitting behind the ball. They're going to be doubled up on, tripled up on. And, a lot of people get on to players like Saka and, he doesn't perform enough. Wait until your wide player's got 2 or 3 players surrounding him and marking him out of the game. It becomes a completely different argument there. But do you think he's been a flop, Kate?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's been a flop. I think most Terry's face. I think most Leicester fans kind of warned Spurs fans that this is what Maddison does. I was never a fan of him. Jim wanted him for years, said he was born to play for Spurs, but
fuck you, Jim.
Yeah, silly Jim. I don't particularly like his attitude. There's something about Maddison I can't put my finger on. I think he thinks he's better than he is, and I think he knows in the Tottenham team at the minute he walks into the team every time. And I think if we could get an Eze in, it's going to give him a kick up the arse. But I mean, for me, if we got an offer for him, I'd sell him. There's loads of our players I'd sell. I think we've had so many flops, and it's shown over this last season. And this is the trouble. We hype them up and make them look like they're going to be world beaters, and it comes crashing down. And that's what's happened with Maddison. He flourished at Leicester, a bit like Jack Grealish did at Villa, and now he's come to a bigger club. And I think he's been found out a little bit.
Chicken dipped. We used to say that when I used to work at phones for you. If anyone declined their credit score, we didn't used to say they declined. We'd say they're chicken dipped. Don't know why. It was just our word. So I like it. So I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back from 2004, I think, baby.
So are you saying, like, because at Leicester he was good, right? Are we saying we looked at him, we looked at Leicester and said, well, Leicester is not one of the top teams, and this dude is outperforming at Leicester, so he looked really good. He made Leicester look really good, right? And then now that he's at Tottenham, where you expect him to be in a big team and to show out, it's like, okay, he's been found out. I still think there's a player in there. I
agree, but
I just feel like this. I feel like the minute you go to I feel like the minute you go to a bigger club, like Olise
the expectations are higher, but you are right. There's automatically. So when I say I think he's flopped, I'm talking about delivering a consistent level on the biggest clubs in the country. No disrespect to no bad banter. Spurs are still one of the biggest clubs in England, whether people like it or not. They simply are, and they're part of the top 6. They're part of it. They're a team last year that were challenging for the top 4, and you need more consistency. I think with Maddison is that he passes the eye test. He can have a bad game but look good doing it, because he's one of those players who he's very aesthetically pleasing on the eye in the way he moves. And for me, and maybe there is a little bit of bias in this, for 4 years, all I've heard is that he is exponentially better than Bruno Fernandes. So for me, I don't really care if you look better. Show me you deliver more. Show me you create more. Show me you score more. Show me you can influence more. I'm not saying there aren't parts of his game that are better than Bruno or better than this guy or that guy. But overall, when it comes to the delivery in your role, I don't think he was anywhere near the standard. Yes, he had an injury, but loads of players get injuries and then bounce back later in the season. You simply have to. You can't have a player where if he gets one knock in a season, you have to wait until pre-season for him to be good again. No club can afford to do that.
Or Terry, is it just because when you move to a bigger club, there's more light shined on you? Like the microscope becomes even smaller. Like so, usually, like
the pressure of it, absolutely.
The pressure, and apart from the pressure as well, people then begin to scrutinize. If Maddison was injured in Leicester for 3 games, right? Yeah, Maddison hasn't played. Well, we're waiting for him to come back. When he comes, Leicester will be firing. That's what they'll say. The minute he gets injured for 1 game in Tottenham, it's almost like, there we go again. It's like it becomes a different narrative when you're in a bigger team or you're in a bigger club. Like the minute
there are many games. How many games did people actually watch of him in a Leicester shirt, really, versus how many more games are you watching Spurs play as an example? There's lots. Viewers, though, give us your thoughts and give us your feelings. Someone sent me a picture of you, Henry. They've said this is Henry writing a letter to Daniel Levy. If you're really young, you might not get the reference. You might not get the cultural reference there.
He's writing for Kane to come back to Spurs.
Yes, he's actually writing to Kane, isn't he? Crying Isaac hasn't come back to him yet. A transfer story that's actually broke while we've been live. We were going to talk about the Ligt to Man United as a link from Plettenberg that Man United are monitoring the situation. But according to Simon Jones of the Daily Mail, Man United are set to submit their first bid for the Everton centre-back Branthwaite. Thoughts on him, Paddy, as a player and Man United potentially bringing him in?
Well, he's someone that should be in Germany right now with the England squad. The fact that Lewis Dunk was taking over him is mad. I think Branthwaite is unbelievable. I think he's had a great couple of seasons in football. He had a really good spell at PSV over in the Netherlands, and obviously was great for Everton last season. Everton, with the points deduction were down there, but they could have easily been in the top half, and their defense was one of the top 5 defenses in the league. I think it was like 4th or 5th or something like that. So yeah, I think Branthwaite is an unbelievable player. He's a good ball. He's good on the ball. He's a good passer. I think he'd be a really, really good signing for United, and your best centre-back signing for many years, because Varane, didn't work out really. Maguire, less said about him, the better. So this would be one that United have got right. I don't know how much he'll be, but it'll be worth it.
It's going to be right. I imagine it's probably going to be 60 million plus, 70 million, 80 million maybe. I actually think he's one of the best left-sided centre-backs in the league. I think he's very, very... I know there's a lot of praise around him because he's English and the cameras are on him, but I think he's very underrated in terms of his ball playing ability. The thing is, are Man United going to play Lautaro and not Lautaro, Lisandro Martinez, whatever Martinez his first name is, are they going to play Martinez and Branthwaite if he does sign 2 left-sided centre-backs in the same pairing, or does someone else come in?
That's what I was just thinking about. I was like, they're both left-sided centre-backs, and I was just like, I think he's an amazing player, to be honest. Like, I rate him. But you're signing, you already have Lisandro Martinez. Martinez is a beast. Like, you see the difference in Man U when Martinez plays. When Martinez is not in the team, it's almost like your entire back four just falls apart. And so now, if you bring Branthwaite, is he coming to sit on the bench for Martinez, or are you going to force like 2 left-sided centre-backs to play? He's a good buy, but I don't see how it's going to work. Is what I'm thinking in my head. I'm just because I don't think he's going to want to sit on the bench. That's the one thing I know.
I think
if you look at United's point of view, it's a good start to their rebuild, considering the fact that Varane's currently on the way right now to Inter Miami, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're in my United position right now, maybe you can switch into a back 3, but I'm not sure whether Ten Hag would want to do that. And also, they need just more than Branthwaite. I just think they need a bit of midfield as well. I think I heard Chalobah's rumours going to Man United as well as a partnering centre back with Lisandro Martinez as well. So Chalobah essentially is the right centre back that I think United might need it as well in that team.
I think Braithwaite is a must for Man United. If Man United can get him, they must get him. I generally believe that. I know everyone here is saying about having 2 left-sided centre-backs, but you've seen one of them out for most of this season, and then they didn't have no one to replace him. You've also got Martinez can play left-back. People want to forget that, so you can play him left back with him in centre back, Braithwaite. I think it's a no-brainer. I think he's a future guy for Man United as well. Centre back that can be there for many years and be a real like stable presence in that Man United team to start building from. And you say that they're both left side. You don't know if one of them can play the right side. Maybe they can. You know.
Definitely. I was just thinking about how it would work. Of course, they should get him. I'm saying like I rate him. They should get him. I don't care what they do. They should get him. If they don't get him,
I think they've messed up. I understand your challenge. Could I throw this out? It's the first time I've thought about it. I understand that the general rule that you should have a left-footed and a right-footed centre back next to each other because it's easier. But is that a little bit of an old mentality when looking at centre backs of old that were not particularly good at playing out from the back? And I say that because when you look at Lissandro, when you look at Branthwaite, you look at players like, I mean, I don't know what foot John Stones is. It's probably right-footed, but I don't know because he looks comfortable when he goes left or right. You look at the Arsenal centre-backs, Saliba and Gabriel. It doesn't matter if they're forced to go left or forced to go right. They just look comfortable on the ball, if that makes sense. So there's part of me thinking with the way modern-day centre-backs are trained, if you're technically good on the ball, is it as big, genuine question, is it as big a problem as it would have been 10 to 15 years ago with centre-backs like, Vidic and John Terry that were amazing defenders, but a little bit shaky on the ball, maybe?
Yeah, I think you're right, Terry.
I think it's different nowadays. Like footballers, centre-backs they could play striker, sometimes with how technically gifted. So I think it is kind of an archaic viewpoint. I think it's more just, I don't know, it's nice just left foot on the left side.
Player profile as well. I think modern day football with all the managers wanting a particular profile and trying to put players in particular places is why I think about it from that perspective. Like if I have multiple of the same player profile in the same position, it's almost like, how am I going to make it work? Of course, the player is talented. I can switch him. I mean, we saw Ben White go from center back to right back. So it's not impossible. And I think maybe they may have seen something. And I just feel like I said, United have to get him.
Yeah, I mean, someone here, I didn't know this because I never look at it, but Van Dijk plays on the left, but he's actually right-footed. An Arsenal fan here said that's very false. I love Gabriel, but he's not comfortable going on his right. Again, I love listening to people speak about their own clubs versus rivals. Maybe it's because when I'm watching Arsenal play it from the back, I don't feel any nerves because I'm not an Arsenal fan. Sometimes when you watch your own team play, it can be different. But I'm not saying he's amazing on his right like he is on his left, but I don't look at him and go, when he has to come on the inside, I don't look at him and go, oh my God, he looks like Bambi on ice. I think he's relatively comfortable, but we also need the backup as well. But I like him. The biggest part of this deal for me, if we can pull it off, is how much we end up paying, because Everton are pushing hard for this 70 million. And there are rumours going around. I had it with Grizz Khan today on Twitter that we're absolutely broke. And 5 summers running, the media have said we're broke. 5 summers running, we've been one of the highest spenders in Europe.
BS.
Everybody's saying they're broke. I don't necessarily think Man United are. When all the facts and figures were released by Kieran Maguire a few weeks back about which clubs would be impacted now by the new spending caps, by the new 85% turnover caps of spending, the 2 clubs with the most amount of leeway still were Man United and Man City. But suddenly there's no money. We've got rid of, in the last 2 seasons, we've got rid of over £1.6 million a week's worth of wages in the Ronaldos. The Martial has gone on 250 grand a week. Varane has gone. Casemiro is probably going to go for a certain amount of money. Fabrizio has just mentioned right now as well, actually, that Mason Greenwood is set to leave Man United on loan with an obligation to buy. Talks have taken place between Juve and United, and the rumours are there's going to be an obligation to buy there of 50 million, but his salary, which is quite high, taken care of. So I don't think we're broke. However, the point I'm making is that I would love us to bring this deal in for much less than 70 million. If we could get it for me, 60 million, I'd be cool with. If we could get it for 55 or less, I would look at it as a really good start to our new regime, as we are not paying over the odds, or we're not paying the maximum that people are asking for. And I think that's a real key component, because our owners and the people they employed prior, I would say we overpaid between 20 to 50%, 25 to 50% on nearly every single player we bought for a decade. and then undersold at the same value. And that's where you run out of money.
You're
because you need one more player.
United. You're Manchester United. We have to make you overpay. You're Manchester United. It's true. It's look, you laugh, right? But when I sit down with people and we talk, and they're like, if Man U is coming for your player, what are you asking for? They're like, it's Man U. They're one of the richest clubs in the world, and for the longest time, we're the richest club in the world. They're at par with Madrid for the longest time. So, like, these clubs are not sitting there like smiling and being like, oh yeah. The minute United comes knocking,
you're right. Sorry to interject. You're right. But if you go back and look through Fergie's time, yes, there were times where we broke transfer records. Not going to deny that. If you look at who the highest spenders were each season, Man United seldom were the highest. In fact, so I hear your point that people should try and make us pay more. But I'm not worried about paying the right amount of money for people. But it's say you've got a £55 million. Anthony is a standout example. Rated at £25 million by our board in terms of valuation, end up paying £90 million for him. That's the kind of thing that's got to stop. I want Branthwaite. I like him. But if we end up paying 85 million pounds for him, it's not that you're not getting a good player. It's that you've eaten so much into your budget. You're gonna have a hole somewhere else now. And one of the biggest bits of logical fails I think that fans have is it's not my money, just spend it. Well, it is your money. It's your club's budget for buying players. If you spend it all on one or two people, you've got holes in your team. It's crazy the way some football fans think. So I really am. I am really, really looking forward to how we get this deal done structurally, as much as a player as well.
I think Terry will as well with you and buying players, because you have done that so many times with Anthony. Now clubs just know you'll do it, so they'll take advantage. Us Arsenal fans realize with our team, we have the exact same problem with the opposite way round. When we sell players, no one ever wants to pay any good money for our players. Like, we put Eddie Nketiah up, and I know he ain't the greatest, but you look at like 10, 15 million people want to pay. Then you see that Duran going for 45 million. Like
Giuseppe, let's do this right. Let's blame the Arsenal fan base for why our players are not being sold properly at good prices, because we talk shit about Nketiah. We come out here and we shit on the player. We talk about how to, so no, agree. So if he's shit, why are you expecting big money for him?
Yeah,
it's like how can we sit there and say this player is not good, and then we complain about when we want to sell the player, oh, nobody wants to pay big money for him. The player is no good. So my thing is, look, if a player is no good and somebody wants him for 15 million, it's full profit. He's an academy player. Get rid of him. Take that money, go take a loan and get more. Yeah. Well, you
can't blame the fans for someone not spending money.
Or are you just a bad club at selling players?
Yeah, we are.
We're just bad at selling players. Yeah.
The board is bad because
your record sale is what? Oxlade-Chamberlain, then Iwobi?
Yeah, and maybe Balogun.
They're all around the 40 million mark, aren't they?
Because for so many years, what our board done was let our players run down contracts so they have a year or so left, and then or maybe just over a year left, and we have to sell them. So we have to just accept what
so with the likes of Nelson and Nketiah that are both, and Gabriel Jesus' futures are all in doubt. I mean, what do you reckon you get for Nketiah and Nelson?
Well, I've said now is the time for me. Arsenal need to actually say, listen, 30 million or nothing. Like, we have to actually start like being real.
Well, you think a Premier League club or a rival club or
30 million for
Nketiah?
Yeah, I do.
I have a different opinion about that. I know we're not talking Arsenal right now, but the truth about it is,
I'll come back in a minute. There's some breaking news, guys, that I want to go to. Sorry, some breaking news. Douglas Luiz has just agreed personal terms with Juventus, and Villa are prepared to accept 20 million euros plus Weston McKennie and Samuel Jr. For Douglas Luiz. 20 million. I mean, Weston McKennie ain't even that good. 20 million euros. Madness.
That's mad.
Great.
That's ridiculous.
And that just shows with the Premier League tax, because there's no way Arsenal or someone would have got Douglas Luiz for a deal like this. That Weston McKennie, that's like Arsenal saying to them, oh, listen, we'll give you 20 million plus Reece Nelson and Sambi Lokonga. That is the exact same deal, in my opinion.
Well, that Ealing Jr. guy, I don't know much about him, but he is highly rated, youngster. But yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why Villa have done that. They could have sold him to someone in the Prem for like 80 mil or something. It's a bit bizarre.
Yeah, but Villa don't want to strengthen any of the. I mean, whoever's going to go for him will be one of the.
They don't want to strengthen a rival, but at the same time, if you get 60 million pound for him, then you can strengthen your team better than Weston McKennie. Do you know what I mean? It becomes so they've lost Douglas Luiz, they've replaced him with an inferior player, and so they've strengthened us all by proxy because they've made their midfield weaker for all of us to play against. You know, they haven't gone out and bought somebody top notch. But yeah, also, this is not a dig at Aston Villa, but you know, when Arsenal were kind of linked to him a few weeks back, and people, no way he'd leave a Champions League team like Villa now are in the Champions League for a team like Arsenal. No, when the Giants come knocking, It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And people have got to, you know, like we've all given Chelsea a bit of stick this last year or so, but the way people act like no one's going to join Chelsea is still gargantuan. They whether people like it or not, they still are, and players will still join them. It's as simple as
I think they just got Ross Barkley, didn't they? Aston Villa. They just got Ross Barkley.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to get Gallagher as well. I reckon they'll sign Gallagher for you boys, and that will be their replacement.
Do you want to lose Gallagher, Fats? Is he someone you want to lose?
Look, in terms of Gallagher, I can understand why he does want to leave. As a person that been Chelsea fan of watching Gallagher, I don't want him to lose, but I just think there's a reason why he might go to Villa, just purely because I think that Villa need more midfielder because they just lost Douglas Luiz, and maybe it's just that for me as a fan to see kind of him going, like I'm not really that have a kind of attachment towards him, and I think some Chelsea fans are way too emotional just purely because he's a Cobham boy through and through. And let's remember, like this is Chelsea at the end of the day. Like there shouldn't be any emotional attachment whether you're coming from Cobham graduate or any other teams as well. So if he's gone, I will not miss him by a bit. But thank you for your service and good luck in the Aston Villa. They're in the Champions League as well.
How gutted will you be, Kate and Stan, because you have he's another one of your major targets, Conor Gallagher.
I'd be gutted. I think the way we play, we need an out-and-out number 8.
Do you know what? We used to actually Stan and was it Dido? Sorry. Oh,
I generally think though he would be a fantastic addition to us because we like our midfield. We keep chopping and changing.
You want Gallagher? Sorry, let me stop you. You want Gallagher?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah, we need homegrown players. He played 37 out of the 38 games last year. The only game he missed was from suspension. He's shown leadership ability. He's got more GA than any of our midfielders, including James Maddison. And he can play the 8 role better than any of our midfielders. We've got Saar.
Stop it. Get some help.
We don't know if he's a 6 or... people will mock it, but I think Gallagher's a good player. I don't...
How dare you?
I don't think he's worth £50 million, but... knowing the fact that Bissouma's linked for move away, Højbjerg's going to be leaving, Lo Celso's leaving. Who plays in the 8 role for Tottenham then? Because it's not
Gallagher. Oh God, no, not Gallagher.
It's not Gallagher. Name
Gallagher.
Anyone.
I love seeing this. Gallagher. I had Spurs fans all season at the start of the season telling me how Maddison's better than Odegaard, Bissouma's better than Declan Rice,
Madison's a 10.
Bentancur's better than anyone we have in midfield. And now all of a sudden, Gallagher will be your best midfielder.
No, but in terms of that role,
I actually think Gallagher would be very good for Spurs. By the way, I think
we lack energy. We have no one.
Shite, man. What do people see when they watch?
He just runs around and does nothing.
We haven't got anyone.
Henry, if you want, if anyone here wants to run around, he might as well go to Atletico Madrid because I heard Simeone loves him as well.
Nah, Højbjerg's gonna go there. That's a match made in heaven. Højbjerg and Simeone. That's a match made in heaven. But
you want him to run. You want Paddy. You had a little outburst there, but I want to hear from you. Do you understand where Henry's coming from here? They need the energy in the legs.
Just one last thing on this: we've got to sign 3 English players this window. What English players are we going to get? If we're not going to get Gallagher,
they need to be English. They need to be home. They need to have come from a UK academy.
Kyle Walker-Peters will probably be one as a backup right back to Porro.
Oh, you're bringing him home?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. He's a backup right back. Why don't
you just promote a youngster?
Because because if we were to do that, we'd have promoted Jamie Donnelly. We'd have promoted all these other players.
What about the guy up front? What's his name? Parakeet.
Who?
Troy, is it Troy Paracut?
Troy.
Yeah, he's out in the Eredivisie. He's out playing for whatever their name are.
Right.
He was only on loan.
Lancashire, who links to move away to Middlesbrough. The geezer just scored 23 goals, and they've basically said, "No, he's
Parrot's
not
Irish,
call
by
up."
the way.
We are horrendous, and we've always been
But
horrendous.
it's from their
at promoting
academy,
youth.
so it's like, you know.
It's shit.
Listen,
It's
I
shit,
tell you, you could have. Tell you we could. That's why, by the way, I'm not that unhappy that it looks like we're giving Johnny Evans another year, because he'll be fifth choice centre back. He counts as homegrown for us because he's from our academy, and he actually played quite well when he came on. Sometimes you got to do that kind of smart business. Is there an old Spurs player somewhere you could sign like that, like Gary Mabbott or something?
Marcus Edwards at Sporting Lisbon for £3 million. That's going to happen, guarantee it. We need to sign homegrown players. So if we're not going to bring in Gallagher, we're not going to bring in Abraham. Someone tell me a homegrown player that we.
Yes, you have to sign a homegrown player. It doesn't mean you have to sign someone as god awful at football as Conor Gallagher. The guy has
So is Bissouma better than Gallagher?
If you want someone who runs, sign Usain Bolt. You'd be better on the ball. I genuinely don't think that. Conor Gallagher is a waste man.
He might be, but is Sarr, Bissouma, Højbjerg, and Lo Celso better than him? No, they're not. They're not better than Gallagher. So
yeah, they probably all are actually. Yeah.
Every
single one of them probably are. Yeah.
Henry, let me ask you this question though. I get your point. So if I go to, this is great for you, right? If you go to the hairdressers and get a bad haircut, right? It actually worked out perfectly. They do an awful haircut. Okay, you go to another place and do another awful haircut. Your mate recommends a place to you, but they cut his hair badly as well. But they did it slightly better than your bad haircut. That's what you're talking about here. You're just settling for mediocrity. I get the I think he's I'm going to spend £1 million on a semi-decent championship player to filter your quota on homegrown, and spend the £50 million on somebody that's genuinely
I agree.
Improve your team. Stop thinking it's so Spursy, Henry.
No, but I don't. As I said at the beginning, I don't think he's worth £50 million. We've won you
15 million.
Right? If there was an ideal world, you'd bring him in for 15 million quid. But as an 8, we don't have a number 8, and we're not great at signing players unless they're from Italy. So who are we going to bring in to the team right now?
Not O'Reilly.
Gallagher. King
Absolutely
Canton are here.
Perfect, but we're not going to do that.
King Canton are here. It says Gallagher, fantastic player with tremendous energy. He's durable. Work rate is unreal. Technically, inept. Sorry, yeah, I think he means that. But he's praising him. That's a weird thing to say. He's a ball carrier. Takes it nicely off the back foot and progresses it. Would take him at United in a heartbeat. King Cantona would fly kick you in the head if he read this. He would be like, what are you talking about? We've already got him. We've already got him, and his name is Scott McTominay.
He's better than McTominay.
Good word, apparently. Adept actually is
Adept means skillful, yeah.
No, he's not.
Bears, my bad. That's crazy. No, he's not. He's terrible.
This is honestly, I think this is just slander. Like, Gallagher is not as terrible as you're painting him to be.
I agree.
He's not. Look, in that Chelsea squad last season.
Sorry, that word was the depth. Sorry, my brain just froze on it. Adept means expert.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But if you look at that Chelsea squad last season, the whole season, he was one of their better players. He was one of the better players. And they had, I mean, if Cole Palmer did not show up like he did last season, Gallagher was literally one of their better players. And then maybe Gusto. Like, everybody else was crap the whole season.
Other than Palmer and Gusto, who was the next best player?
And I get it when Chelsea fans say maybe he's not good enough for Chelsea, or whatever that means. I don't know what that means to me. Like, but he's not a terrible player. He brings a lot to any team that he goes to.
We've got Ollie Skip at our football club, who is genuinely
50 million is a lot.
Why do you want to sign another Ollie Skip?
Oh, come on. He's far better than Ollie Skip. Come on now. You're better than Ollie. Ollie Skip is terrible.
I think Gallagher would suit him more to any teams that likes to run around. Like, maybe
which is what we do.
That's maybe Spurs, and if Spurs wants it, then put a bid in, or maybe put over 50, 55.
That money's crazy. But with all this being said, I don't think he'll join us because Chelsea are not going to sell one of their homegrown players to Tottenham. It's not.
No, but I think they will if that 50 million pound means they can go and get Olise and make their team better. And they say bye Spurs.
They will.
Well, as long as we get Eze, I'm sweet.
You are so Tottenham. We can buy loads of rubbish as long as I get Eze. You want Eze to play with rubbish. You want Eze to play with Stan. Come on.
You genuinely think
no wonder Harry Kane hasn't ripped back yet.
I think Spurs need to be a bit more shrewd as well, because if you look at Arsenal, for example, we've done good business, like to the point where Saliba's a homegrown player for us, right? You can get young players in that are still top quality and start bringing them in and having them stay there. And that you don't need right now. You're saying you need these homegrown players, but you're gonna make your team worse to fit homegrown players instead of promoting a few youth or bringing in youth players.
We're notoriously
that doesn't make sense.
Bringing through the academy. In the last 20 years, only 4 academy players have come through to the 11 and actually worked. The rest of them have been sold. Yeah. Madueke is an example. Marcus Edwards. We don't promote the youth. Jamie Donnelly should have had a debut 6 months ago.
I hear that. This here says, why is Terry piping up? Your team re-signed Ten Hag. Yeah, so my team re-signing Ten Hag makes Conor Gallagher better at football. Is that the logic? Come on now.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's the way football fans work nowadays. It's sweet. That makes a lot of sense. My brother's an Orient fan. Does that mean he can't comment on any of England's performances because he supports the League One team? Come on now. Let's stop this nonsense. Super chat time. Terry has been on a madness this episode. Have I? Class performance, fam. Okay. Appreciate that, Tevin. Big up to all the panel and the terrorist fam. Dio and G. Who do you think we bring in?
Is that Arsenal?
He's an Arsenal fan, Tevin. Yeah.
Do you know what? I actually think I have this sneaky feeling we're going to bring in Osimhen.
Osimhen.
I think we're going to bring him in.
It's Osimhen, not Osimhen.
Osimhen.
No. They pronounce it probably. The Nigerian name is Osimhen.
Osimhen.
Osimhen means something else. That's what I'm correct.
Okay. Yeah. Osimhen. Yeah. Regardless, I think that's who we're bringing in. I think we're going to get. I don't think we're paying the release clause, but I think we're actually quite lucky. I don't think many teams are going for him, so I don't think we're going to pay that. And I have a feeling we're going to bring in that Nico Williams as well as a winger. I hope maybe that is it. Yeah. Maybe that's a bit of hopium in there and stuff, but yeah, that's who I think we'll bring in.
Would you like to see Osimhen? I'm trying to make sure I'm saying it right as well. Coming in.
Man.
Look, honestly, I've said this before. I rate him as a player, but he's only done 20 plus GA in only one season in his entire career. He's done more of a 15, 16, 17, GA regularly, and then just that one season where he did a 20 plus. And so for me, the price tag is ridiculous for that reason alone. And the fact that he has all types of different injuries. There's not one. It's not like someone who has a knee injury and is consistent and you can go do surgery. Maybe if he's out or whatever it is, you know what you're dealing with. It's always something or the other. It's just a different thing. So I think for me, that price tag is way too much. I would love to see him at Arsenal, but I'm looking at that price tag and I'm like, I might as well just add a few more, couple of 10, 20 to it and just go push Newcastle for Isak as well. I might as well just do that. Like if I'm going to pay that amount of money to Napoli, I might as well just add 15, 20 million more, close my eyes, go to Newcastle and be like, hey, Isak, here you are. Right? I mean, that makes more sense to me. So yeah.
Can I ask you something? This narrative that Arsenal need a striker, right? You scored over 100 goals in all comps last year.
I don't buy it.
5 goals less than Man City, who have got the best goal scoring striker in the world. Like, do you not think it's better? Like, I'm surprised you're not linked with Olise. If Saka gets injured on that right hand side, who steps up? You got someone who can play on both sides, get 20 GA a season. Like, if you go and drop 100 million on Osimhen, are you really that much better?
That's what I was saying. I said, so for me, you can ask Giuseppe in our group chat. Giuseppe knows where I stand about this. Like in our group chat, I've said I would spend majority of my money in the midfield to shore it up, and then I would get a Bakayoko on the right hand side. And if I then decide, I would go, okay, let me show up my right hand side because my front three gave me an average of 16 plus GA last season. My defenders contributed 14 goals. We scored another 18 or 19 goals from set pieces. So I'm like, the team is scoring from all places and all types of ways of scoring. I don't think and we were just one game away from actually winning the league. We win one game. We beat City to the league. So are people telling me that 120 million pound player is what I need this season to just come and beat that extra one game this season, or to win 2 extra games this season to get to 90 plus? That's ridiculous. I'm like, I would rather make sure that I have the same or slightly better level of skill in different positions. If Havertz is not scoring, let me bring in somebody else who's got the same type of pace, who's coming off the bench, or a different profile of player to just give me that GA. Leandro Trossard was what, 14, 15 GA? Bukayo Saka 20-something GA. Havertz 17 or 19.
Even when Man City won it before they signed Haaland and Gabriel, they didn't have an out-and-out number 9. Jesus played on the right. I know Liverpool had Mohamed Salah, who was getting like 30 goals a season, but Firmino is not a prolific 25 goal a season man. Like I think you just need more goals that wide, because if Saka gets injured, Martinelli last year, I think he only got
I said, look, Rafael Leao on the left. If you want to go big, let's go big.
He's going to be another 120
I know,
million.
that's what I'm saying. I said, if you want to go big, let's go big there. Let's go big. So now we have Saka and someone like Leao. Like, now you've got both sides firing.
You say we don't need a striker, but I know everyone goes, we scored this amount of goals. Let's remember that the reason we scored so many goals is because one period of the season we went on a goal scoring frenzy. Like, let's be real, from January to like March, we were scoring 5 goals a game, 4, 5, 6 goals. We went through a period in December where we couldn't score a goal. West Ham, the Fulham games where we couldn't score, and this is when you need
because we hadn't
striker.
clicked.
No, it ain't about
Giuseppe though. Henry spot on though, because he just showed some examples. I feel like you don't necessarily need that number 9. I think if you've got 2 wide men that can put up numbers, you saw it with us with Salah and Mane. You saw it with City. I think when De Bruyne was playing false 9, I think they had Mahrez and Sterling either wing once Sane had left. I think Arsenal, I actually agree with that. I don't think necessarily, because I was of the opinion that you did need that 20 plus goal season a striker. I was of that opinion, but then I thought, hold on, I think you scored your most goals, I think, in the Premier League era. I just think you just need to sharpen up maybe on that marquee midfielder. I think you need to go back to what your thought process was at the start of last summer. If that makes sense, because I don't think you need that 20 plus a season striker now.
Giuseppe, let me ask you this, right? If Martinelli had shown the same form he showed the season before, where he scored 15 goals, in those games you're talking about, the Fulham game, the West Ham game, that could have been Martinelli scoring those goals. That's what we're talking about. Like, I'm saying there were shortcomings in the team throughout the very beginning of the season, and it was a slow build up for Arsenal. And as soon as we clicked into gear, the fact that we went on an 18 game run from January till May, won 16, drew 1. Like for me, the question is, how is that not, like, at this point, what you need is you need to shore up the places that the goals were drying up from. But just coming and planting somebody as a striker now, you now need to change your entire method. Like, look at City. When City was playing without a top striker, they were scoring many goals. Now, when they brought Haaland, all of a sudden they had to depend on him. This season, we saw how it looked when Haaland was not playing. City would barely score 1-0 here and just get through that game, or 2-0 and get through that game because their number 1 guy is not firing. But if I have 3-4 players up front who are firing on all cylinders and are giving me 15 plus GA, I would feel more confident in any game that if this guy is not going to score, this guy can score. But if my top striker is out of form for 2 games, I could lose those 2 games. And that could also cost me the league.
But you're talking about bringing in a striker that's going to change the way you play. There's a difference. They brought in Haaland, and he's actually changed the way they play. If you bring in Osimhen, to Arsenal, you don't actually have to change the style that we have. So our wingers will still be getting goals, but then you have an actual clinical guy up top. In my opinion, he's clinical guy up top that will finish the chances. Many games we didn't do that. We see it against Aston Villa when we lost in the streak that you just said. Yeah, you said we drew 1, we won 16. You missed the loss out. We lost that, and in the first half we could have been 2-3-0 ahead, but we didn't have that clinical striker there to just put it away out of nothing. Sometimes you need a player that out of nothing just is there.
I don't think Osimhen's that guy though. I don't think he is clinical. That's the problem.
Hey, That's another thing. I mean, like everybody keeps saying, you need that guy, you need that guy. How many of those guys are available right now in the market? How many players can you look at in this transfer window and tell me that if I go get this player, I can guarantee that he's a moment player, and when we need a goal, he's going to pick up the ball. There's very few Phil Fodens out there. Very few.
Gyökeres would be my check for Arsenal. Although he's not done it in the big leagues.
I don't know if he's ready just yet to leave either, because you're talking about a guy who really likes working with Amarin. Like he just scored 50, like he had just had like 50 GA with Amarin just last year. Like I don't think he's looking to go anywhere really.
Yeah,
if Arsenal comes in though, he might. But you're right.
It's certainly going to be an interesting one. Viewers, let us know what you think and let us know what you feel in the comment section below. By the way, welcome to Rons and Joe to the show this evening. Matt Law update. People have been sending me snippets from it. He has stated that Chelsea are the favourites to land Olise. How are you feeling about that, Joe? Olise to Chelsea, you're seen as the favourites now, according to a few outlets.
Well, I think most Chelsea fans will speak. I could kind of speak for most Chelsea fans, as this is like one of those targets that all of us have combined wanted. Like, it's not like one of those targets where we're like kind of indifferent on. So like this is like one of those opportunities where the ownership group could really appease the fan base first and foremost by getting a target that everybody wants. But when it comes to like stylistically, it is pretty mouthwatering to think that Palmer, Olise, and potentially Nkunku will all be playing on the same pitch at the same time. Just the amount of chances that can be created just with those three is going to be really nice to see this season. And hopefully we can keep those guys healthy. I guess that's kind of the big thing is with Olise specifically and Nkunku, if we could get 30 games out of those guys this season, we're going to have quite a good season this year, I think.
It must be exciting being a Chelsea fan, man. I like getting all these players every time, man. I don't know how you do it. Like Olise, like if we got Olise, I'd be buzzing, or someone of that ilk, you know what I mean? But just to be able to go bang, 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 bang. I don't know.
Well, we sell really well. That's right. We sell really well.
Do you know what, Joe? I think this Olise signing for me is just excellent, because it's not like a Mudryk or a Noni or Nkunku as their maiden year in the Premier League. He's proven. You know what you're getting with him. And you know what? We need to dispel this myth that he's injury prone, because I used to concede that. I used to think, this guy's injury prone. But when you actually look at his record, it's a lot of muscle problems, but he's not actually that injury prone. I think this is an excellent deal for Chelsea. And let's be honest, 60 million, I think the release clause is quoted at. That's chicken change nowadays.
I think in the end, Roms, we end up getting that. It's not going to end up being the release clause. From what I'm reading, the release clause is specifically for Champions League teams. But since that's where a lot of people will stop, is that release clause. Chelsea, on average, when we're talking about these players that we go for release clauses on, like for instance, Enzo, right? Enzo had a release clause. We paid a little bit over the odds for Enzo, so we got the structure. But it ends up working out for both teams. Why wouldn't you want more for the player that you're going to get, right? Which is something that you're going to end up seeing with this Olise deal. It probably will be a little bit more than 60 million. I'm going to be honest with you. It probably will be, but it'll end up being structured where Chelsea benefits. And then in the end, Crystal Palace benefits from getting more money from it. So it's a great scenario for us. I really do hope we get it over the line. From all looks of it, it's going to get over the line unless something ridiculous happens over the next couple hours, next day or so. But it's really something that you have to look forward to as a Chelsea fan. That's one of the biggest things that we're going to be looking forward to next season. Sure.
Yeah, getting him is mad. Another Ornstein update has just come out is that Liverpool and Manchester United are both actively pursuing a deal to sign Leny Yoro from Lille. Liverpool and Man United, though, see Real Madrid as favourites, but are pushing hard for the 18-year-old centre-back, viewed as a unique market opportunity, separate from other targets. PSG keen as well. So, I mean, that's a serious. I mean, he is a serious young talent. I mean, I'm very open about this. I'm only going by what I've read about him in terms of his scouting reports and what people say. I've not watched him play regularly, but I advise viewers go and read about read stuff about him before he was linked to Man United or Liverpool, because you know that the Man United websites and Liverpool ones can be a little bit biased. And he's a highly talented player, but Madrid leading the race.
I think a big indicator to know how good a player is are the clubs linked with him as well. United, Liverpool, Madrid, 3 of the biggest in world football, all linked with that player. I'm like you, I've not watched a single minute of him, I'm not going to lie. I've only read about him. I was more fixated on William Patro. I don't know if you'd heard of him.
The Ecuadorian. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, from Frankfurt.
From Lille. Oh, Frankfurt, shit.
That Euro.
No, Euro's from Lille, you're right.
Yeah, Euro's from Lille. Patro's from Frankfurt, but he's a bit early. He's not the best, and I think the club has recognised that. So I think that's why they've moved on to Euro. But I need to still do my research with him.
That Euro is an interesting one because he's 18 and he played 45 games last season, and they constantly rotated him at left side and right sided centre back. I know, as we were speaking earlier, that's an older term, but just watching the scout report video, he looks unbelievable on the ball. For an 18-year-old,
I've seen some of
his, Liverpool and Man United after you, you've got to be a special talent.
He's right-footed, and he played more than half his games on the left-hand side.
Terry, I thought that in the Ornstein report, did it say Real Madrid was the favorites? Because I read earlier this week that his
report here. I'm only going, but I haven't read the full article. His report said that Man United and Liverpool see Real Madrid as the favourites.
Oh, okay.
There's been other reports I've read that have said that he's seen as the favourite, but it's again. I mean, Real Madrid often get these young players, and it feels very much like when they went after a young Rafael Varane. In terms of, I mean, everything there is coming from
more recent Camavinga.
Well, yeah, Camavinga, but I'm just thinking centre backs. They often land these players, but I really like the look of this guy. And I mean, I've watched snippets of him and I've watched some footage of him since we were linked. And I agree, on the ball, for 18 years of age, the composure, and in France, and this isn't a dig in case people take it that way. There's many in France that believe he'll be better than Saliba. And even if he's just as good, I'd be happy. If he's better, then amazing, because Saliba is absolutely ridiculous for his age.
Terry, I've seen some of this guy's clips, and that prediction is dead spot on. He reminds me of a Van Dijk that has like that John Terry aggression. Like there was one particular move that he made in defending the ball. He literally did a split on the floor to stop the ball from like cutting across so the attacker could, and the striker would have been on goal, just one-on-one with the goalie. And his calmness on the ball is ridiculous, and for his age, Because I remember when he first came out and I saw Yoro, I was like, oh, who's this one? Let me just go watch some clips. I didn't watch the full game. I just watched different clips of him, and I was like, this is mad. This is mad. If you guys get him, that is a player that.
Go on, Roms.
You know what sparked the rumors even more? He could have just got a ticket to the Champions League final, but the fact he was there, he stayed for the celebrations, watched him. I saw some pictures going around. He was watching the Madrid celebration, so it sparked the rumors that he's watching his future club.
I mean, they've got so much to offer him. It's like, I mean, I know we've got 3 and you've got 6, but it's still Real Madrid with 38 or whatever Champions League they've got. Someone here says, Terry, we've been streaming for an hour or so and no talk on Ten Hag re-signing. Because we went live when it happened, and then we did 2 straight facts running where we spoke about. My channel has done 3 live shows about it. We've moved on to new news now. It's
Terry don't want to talk about it anymore. Leave it alone.
I mean, what's everyone going to say? We will get the same opinions on this show as we've had on all the others. Some will say, I think it's a good sign for the structure. Some will say it's crazy. It's kind of it. We've done this. We've already done it on 3, maybe even 4 live shows on it. Since then, my friend. So go back and watch the old cop. We're not just going to keep doing the same topic on every single show that we do. That would be a very weird way to roll. This here says it's not more goals or less goals. It's another game changer. Someone that can make the difference for a few more games, midfield, winger, or striker. I agree with Tony. That's what they need to do. I disagree. We need a moments player like Sanchez. We need a moments player like Sanchez, as what Saad says. Hope you're well, Saad, by the way, bro. Arsenal need a striker to get to clutch them through tough games. I think we will complete the Reyes signing from Brentford, then look at selling some players before buying Rashford. That will be our window, typical Arsenal transfer window. I've had a few gooners online think you're going to get Rashford.
I think people were just saying that because of the Havertz thing. I think they're thinking the Havertz last season and it come out of nowhere and stuff. And now they're trying to do this Rashford stuff. Listen, Tottenham can get Rashford.
Arteta's
But I'll say this though. I will say this though. If you give me Rashford, I'll take him.
No,
Rashford
Well, he won't be winning the
listen.
league.
No, listen. If you give me Rashford, I'll take him, and I'll tell you what. He's prem proven, man. Look, you guys. He's 26.
Prem-provenly shit.
Listen. He's 26, right? And you can say. Listen, you can say what you want. You can say what you want, right, about Rashford because this season he looked really bad. Man, you look really bad this season. Manchester United looked terrible throughout the entire season. You might not like them because you're Liverpool. You're right.
And we were the most successful team on this panel this season as well, weren't we?
Listen. I mean, at
Or
the,
Champions League.
At the end of the day, I will say this: Rashford is still a quality player.
He is. No, I agree.
He's still a
Chelsea
quality player,
fan
regardless
here.
of what anybody thinks.
Chelsea fan here. The only elite thing Stuart and Loss Stanley are elite at keeping their jobs. Morning, everyone. Big up from Australia. I'll be honest with you, and I have said this on a few shows. The only player that Chelsea are linked to this season that I look at and go, why, is Duran. The rest of them toss in, I think, excellent piece of business. If they get Olise, amazing piece of business. So, yeah, I so far, I think it's very impressive. I can't see Villa staying there. Leicester were there for a while and faded. Same with West Ham. As much as people joke about Tottenham over the last 10 to 15 years, they have still been in and around. This is true. This is true, Jason. A bit of praise there for Tottenham. Right. We're going to have a little bit of fun now, people. Make sure you stay with us and hit the like button. Bracket time on the Euros, people, is what we're going to do. So I've already set the groups up. We are going to move them. We are going to change them. We want to get your views and opinions. By the way, go and check out UEFA's official website to do this, because once you've logged in and you complete this, you can win prizes if your predictions come off. There's like PlayStations and cars and money to be won. It's free to enter as well. So get yourselves across. So, peeps, I wanted to start off with this really with Germany's group. I've got it: Germany first, Switzerland second, Scotland third, Hungary fourth. Would anyone change that?
Yes. The Scots are finishing second, and I would say Hungary third. I think the Scots are being underrated, man. They had a really good qualifying campaign, and they've got the passion. I just think, and also Hungary. Ireland beat Hungary 2-0, and we're fucking shit. So yeah, I think Scotland second. Honestly, I think Scotland second. I hope so too. The Scots deserve a good summer.
No, they don't. They're finishing bottom of that group.
No, I love England, but I'm not. I do like the home nations and Ireland, of course, to do well. I'm into that. I'm not.
Yeah. No. None of this.
Harry's.
England, if you're gonna wear that shirt with that hair, you gotta take the fucking hat off, mate.
You know what? I think
what a back on.
Do you know who you look like? Do you know who you actually look like? You look like Megan Rapinoe.
No, he looks like, mate. I see two Kates on my screen.
Yeah, like
Eminem.
Let's just look at this for a second. Let's just do this for a second.
What is he doing?
If we try, just the two of us, Kate and I. Oh, wow.
Yeah, 100%. The Scots are coming bottom of that group.
No, they're not, man. Like
they are.
No, I think Scotland qualify as I think two of the best third place groups.
Who's in that group again? Sorry.
So if I put it back up on the screen, so you got Germany, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland.
Switzerland are good. Why are we just disregarding Switzerland like they haven't got balls?
I say we put Switzerland third and keep second, and keep Scotland third and put them for his qualifier. Next Group B, I've gone Spain first, Croatia second, Italy third, Albania fourth.
Yeah. Terry, relax.
Spot on. 4 for 4, Terry.
Spot on.
Yeah.
I forgot we got an Italian in the house.
Yeah, listen, move Italy right up. The disrespect.
No, Italy's first, actually. Spain third. I think Spain aren't going to qualify. I think
Italy first, Spain second.
Spain aren't going to qualify, Paddy.
What do you mean,
Italy,
Spain?
Croatia.
How is Spain not going to qualify? Like in what universe are we talking about?
Spain are. Have you seen their squad? Their squad reeks.
Spain first, Croatia second, Italy third, Albania.
No,
fourth.
why are you still salty about the Euros?
Do you know what, Giuseppe? I'm going to go with this. If I don't win a prize because of you, Giuseppe, I'm coming. I'm going to put Italy.
But I would say Spain second. I'll say Spain second.
And then Croatia third. Okay. Next group, England's group. I have gone for England top.
Yeah.
Denmark, Serbia, Slovenia.
Serbia second.
Hang on.
Denmark are what?
Yeah. Serbia
the
second.
Serbs,
I agree.
The Serbs are dirty dogs, man. They just get the job done. They'll be getting 0-0s, 1-1s. Yeah, they move different.
Proper shithouse team.
What about Slovenia though?
Yeah.
What about what's his name?
Tesco.
Everyone was going to be
England bottom.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Listen, Denmark, we've got a really, really good striker. Really good striker.
I reckon England are going to struggle.
FA Cup winner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they've got. Who did they got? What's his name? The guy that played.
What
for,
did you say?
Barca
What did you just say there, Henry? Oh, sorry, Kate.
I said I think England are going to struggle.
No chance. Oh, we'll struggle, but we're not finishing bottom. Yeah, we'll struggle. We always
maybe
struggle.
not bottom, but I think we're going to struggle massively. I think all of it. This is what happens every tournament. Everyone gets all excited, and England proves that they're shit again. Every year it's the same. Well, every tournament.
Yeah, thanks for killing my dreams again, Kate.
Coming home.
Yeah, I mean, you've died your hair. I hope it's
the guy
semi-permanent.
bleaching his hair for all this. Like, leave him alone.
Yeah, facts. Got me
This man,
motion blasting in the car.
This man went.
I haven't put a single football song on yet. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it today.
I've had them on for lines on 3 months.
I'm scared to say it's coming home on the show in case Paddy gets offended though, because he doesn't know that it's a joke.
No, I hate that shit. No, it's not, man. You're so serious.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Nah, you was mean it. No, listen, do you know what? I'll be honest, right? As an Irishman, usually I follow that shtick of hoping to lose. And then during Euro 2020, I was like actively supporting against England. But now I'm like, mate, I support the English Premier League fucking more than anything. So I actually don't mind if he's do well. I don't think he's a winner because Southgate. I don't know how he's still the manager, but he'll be fine. I think he's losing the semis to France.
Next group, I've got France first, Netherlands second, Austria third, Poland fourth.
Yeah, that's bang on.
I think that feels good. Right. Next group, Belgium top. I've gone with Ukraine second.
Yeah.
Romania third, Slovakia fourth.
Ukraine have the war passion behind them, you know.
But that was kind of I didn't know. I didn't word it like that. But
they've
that's
got
kind
that
of
dog in them.
Feeling like they're gonna. This whether people like it or not, we're not gonna get political. It's a little look. Usyk. He is actually one of the greatest fighters ever. But I do sort of think like there's an extra fire in the belly a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So as a nation, and the final group, I've gone with Portugal, Czech Republic, followed by Turkey, followed by Georgia.
Yeah, I think this one's
interesting.
Portugal are skewing.
Turkey second.
No, I think Georgia,
Turkey
Georgia.
I think
Vice Kvaratskhelia. I think Georgia second.
I'm going to throw a wild card out here. I reckon Georgia will finish second.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Georgia second,
Georgia second?
I think Georgia second, yeah.
Kvaratskhelia carry job.
Give it to
Where am I? Actually, a lot more than him on that team. It's actually surprising how well.
They've got. Yeah, I see. I was there's an Englishman as their assistant, and he done an interview recently saying, "We're not here just to be a tourist. We're here to genuinely compete."
I like that. I like that.
Joe, quickly. Who else do they have? I only know Kvaratskhelia. Who else do they have?
So they have. There's a striker that plays for Metz. His name is Mika Dazuke. He plays really well for them in the.
Say that again.
Don't ask me to say it again.
Do you know what I love about international tournaments? And I know there's a lot of people online nowadays.
Ajax last year. He played.
I know there's a lot of players online fans online who try and pretend like they know every single player everywhere. And I know computer games help. But what I love about international tournaments is there's always players that we go, who's he? How good is he? Where has he been? And that's what I love about him. And maybe there's some in that Georgia team. Right. So when we scroll down now, these are the teams that we've put in third place: Scotland, Croatia, Denmark, Austria, Romania, Turkey. Which 4 of these 3 are going through with the most points?
Croatia,
Austria.
I don't think Croatia do.
I think
Croatia, Austria,
Croatia, or
surely Denmark.
Surely Denmark. No, the Romania group has points. I think Romania will be there too.
You say Croatia, but I think they lose. I think Croatia lose to
Scotland,
Italy
no
and Spain.
chance.
Leave Scotland down there.
On the Scots. Nah, let them go through.
No, I'm
Come
putting
on.
Scotland through just for the
Yes.
So we're leaving out Denmark and Turkey. Are we all happy with that?
How is Scotland going for a Denmark?
I don't know. You know what it is? One of our
Rubbish.
best mates is Turkish, yeah, and he's just been convincing me. Look, we're not the greatest going forward, but they hardly concede. So I was like, you know what, Turkey all the way.
Do you know what it is with Turkey, right? I've got a lot of Turkish friends growing up in the East End, and I want them to do well. But they sold me a dream 3 years ago that they were they could win it, and they were awful. And I don't trust it. I don't watch them play, obviously, because I don't get the time to. But
Terry, I got the other dream sold to me. I got that they were going to be at like the worst team in this league this year from a Turkish man. Like, I thought that's what I got from my Turkish friends.
We've gone with it. Now we're on to the fun bit, which is the brackets. Okay.
Please
So
don't
the
put
first-
Scotland through, Terry.
the-
You're putting
the
us on a
first-
loser for nothing.
The first round is going to be Italy versus Austria. If everything we said happens, it will be Italy, Austria. Who wins that game, Giuseppe?
Oh, Italy. We done it last time in the Euros. We'll do it again.
Austria.
Who else says Austria?
Austria go through for me.
No, listen.
Yeah,
Austria
shut up, man.
Henry,
Henry,
Henry, you're just trying to be different.
Italy of
No, listen.
Henry,
Austria,
you're
Win the
being
Euros.
Austria,
The Euros
you're not
champion. They're the
Henry.
reigning Euros champions, by the way.
Henry,
They didn't
Austria
qualify for the World
has,
Cup, though, did they?
listen, Austria have that top striker that you guys are interested in, that MT cabinet. Yeah, they've got him up top. so they might be able to do us. Yeah, but nah, listen, when Italy come in the competition, this is the one thing I know about Italy. When they get into the competition, they
when it gets to the knockout stages, they know what to do. Germany, Serbia. What we saying, Paddy?
It's the Germans, of course.
The Germans. It's in Germany. And just a little announcement, because the Football Terrace team will also be in the Germany for the month as well. Unfortunately, not me for the whole. I will be out there later in the tournament.
So the team is, but just not you.
Yeah, so KJ and Dre fly out tomorrow, and then people you will know. And then we've got Dizzy. All my Dizzy's meeting them out there. And then in a couple of weeks' time, I'm taking a road trip to Germany. Wow. So we're driving there. Me, Tom Little, and Chelsea David. We're all going to be driving out. So it's all pretty much done now. We're ready to go. It's going to be fun. Lots of content to make. And
as Steve's there for the last 16. I'm there for one game.
Oh, nice. Where about you staying?
Frankfurt.
Oh, we're not too far from there. So,
we'll meet for points.
We've got a really good sponsor that have gifted us a big motorhome. So yeah, we're driving out there in that bad boy. So it's going to be fun. I might bring my dog with me. They said I can bring dogs. So I might bring my German Shepherd and take him home, if that makes sense. So yeah, no, we're buzzing about it. It's going to be great out there. And we've decided this time round to not kind of go the route of, and this is not a dig, this is just our decision. So I don't know, I'm twisting it. Not to go the route of like flying out business class and dealing with this company and brand. We're like driving out there ourselves, and we're going to go from fan zone to fan zone and just see what we can, if we can bum a ticket, if we can get, we're trying to go like the old fashioned way that fans used to go, which I had friends that did it in the early 2000s. It was great fun, but we're putting Germany through. Anyway, next game would be Portugal, Croatia.
Portugal.
Got to be Portugal. By the way, I want to put this prediction in now. I'm putting this prediction in now. Bruno Fernandes is going to have the tournament of his lifetime. I think he's going to absolutely run right out there.
I like Bruno.
Now.
He owes it. He owes it to Portugal though, because World Cup he was getting dropped in the latter stages. He wasn't starting, so he owes a big performance for his nation.
I was surprised you were going to say that, because I've been thinking like they might actually move younger, like away from Bruno Fernandes.
No, he will start. He will definitely start.
Right, but like as the tournament goes along, Rams is what I'm saying. Like they did in the, because he started
like they did in the World Cup.
He didn't have the greatest World Cups. He got quite a lot of assists, but he didn't have the greatest World Cups. If you've watched him in the last sort of 9 to 12 months in this Portugal team, he has been their best player by a country mile, and I think he'll have a great tournament.
I haven't watched him enough.
And you know what? A bit of context about, I think he might have picked up a knock in the World Cup as well. To be fair to him, I think he did pick up a knock. So, yeah.
Next game, the Netherlands versus the Ukraine.
Netherlands, of course. Daddy Virgil.
I'll go with them. Belgium, Scotland.
Belgium.
Scotland for me.
Scotland, nice.
Belgium. And it will be a hiding as well. Belgium.
Again, Belgium.
Respect Scotland, boys. Respect Scotland.
France versus Georgia.
France.
England, Romania.
England.
Switzerland, Spain.
I think
Spain,
Switzerland
yeah.
might surprise me.
Spain.
Hell no.
Switzerland are veterans.
I want to say this now. I want to say this now. What we have done, and we did it at the last World Cup when we did these brackets. We have just picked every usual suspect, and never in my life at a tournament have you had all the usual suspects in the quarterfinals. One of these, if you look at the 8 teams you put in the quarterfinals: Italy, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, France, England, Spain. One, if not two, of those teams ain't going to be there.
Spain.
One.
Yeah, Romania has a plan.
I think Spain really. I really do think it's not Spain in the end.
Terry,
I'm going to put Switzerland through, and I'm going to put Scotland through for because
yes,
you've got to take 2 of them out.
Terry,
There's no way all 8 out of the quarters. No way.
My shameless rebuttal to that is there's a first time for everything.
Yeah, no, you're right. There could be. I just see it all the time. So let's just go with this, right? Let's go with this, right? Italy, Germany, quarterfinal. Who wins, Giuseppe?
See,
Germany.
as much as I want to say Italy, I actually think Germany are going to win the whole thing.
So do I.
Yeah, so
You're
I'm
putting
gonna say
Germany through.
No,
Okay.
but if we're doing like what it should, like actually,
What you think? What you think? Yeah, I'd go with Germany.
Germany.
Portugal, Netherlands. What you saying, Henry?
Portugal. 1,000,000% Portugal.
I would unfortunately agree. I'd like, but either way, it's a Liverpool player in the semis. So happy days.
What Portugal player you got?
Jota. Diogo
Oh
Jota.
yes, I like Jota. Good friend of mine.
Bagsman.
Good friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
Genuinely, he used to be my client at the bank. I still speak to him every now and then.
Really?
Yeah. I forgot he's Portuguese. When he said that, I was like, ooh, Jota, yeah.
He's a Portuguese.
What I do, I just
Lemon
so when I
squeezer.
speak to him after he has good games, I text him and stuff. That's all it really is. Nothing major.
Oh.
Friend. Not a friend. Ooh. So we're putting Portugal through. Scotland versus France, Joe. What would you go with on that?
France. No question.
Okay, Scotland, your jig's up. I tried my best.
Yeah,
England
that's where the story ends.
Yeah.
England versus Switzerland.
England.
England, of course.
And then we'll
But
come
in
up again.
But in extra time, we never do anything easy. So
You scrape it. So if it's a
pens.
Germany-Portugal semi-final, I know everyone's anyone making a case for Portugal to knock Germany out on their own turf.
yes,
I just
I
think
am.
Germany are going to win.
Portugal did it in France. They knocked France out. Well, they beat France in France.
Yeah, I think.
I
Yeah,
think
but
Portugal does.
yeah.
I think
key
Portugal
thing about-
does it against Germany.
The key thing
I
about
think
Portugal
Portugal's in the
is
final against France. That's my personal. That's been
Portugal
my-
are suffering from a Southgate-ism because their manager is Roberto Martinez, the man who got Everton relegated. So, or not Everton, sorry, Everton who nearly got Everton relegated and got sacked from Everton, and got Wigan relegated. Yeah,
Yeah.
he fumbled the Belgian golden generation. So
Yeah, but Nagelsmann's a little bit. I'm gonna go Portugal.
Nah, Germany.
Yeah, Germany all day.
Germany.
I'm gonna use because it's my go, as in like my login. The only one I'm gonna overrule on. I'm going Portugal. And Bruno Fernandes is having the tournament of his life. Ronaldo's gonna be there. But this is gonna be the tournament that you remember for Bruno Fernandes. It's gonna be his tournament. He's gonna own
I
this
reckon
tournament.
I reckon he gets sent off in this game.
I'm right. You remember him. Whee! I'm playing both sides. I'm playing both. I'm going with Portugal to make it through to the final. If France play England again, Henry, what happens this time?
Oh, it's just bad memories all over again, isn't it? Well, there's no Spurs players in the England squad. I'm gonna back us. I reckon we'll beat France. Call me deluded, what you want. I'm gonna back us.
Yeah, you're a deluded idiot. I'm
The fact
sorry.
that
I love
Kylian
you. You're
Mbappe-
good.
Yeah, Harry Kane still counts. Son. Harry Kane still counts.
No,
Henry.
I reckon we'll do France, but I don't
With
reckon
that-
we'll beat Portugal.
I reckon we'll do them.
with
Yeah,
that hair and that shirt,
Just don't
you
let-
couldn't
just don't
say
let
anything
Kane-
otherwise.
don't let-
Like, it's a Gaza shirt. He's
Yeah.
the man.
Don't
He's the man.
let Kane take a penalty this time.
Yeah, just let Cole Palmer take it.
Yeah, he's good at that. To be
Geezer
fair.
don't miss.
Yeah.
All right,
Nah,
anyone
on a
else?
serious note, England could beat a lot of teams, but France is the one team they won't beat.
Yeah.
France is France.
All serious.
Mate.
Like, in all
After
serious.
losing the last 2 competitions the way they did
Yeah,
as well,
they're
I
out for
don't think
blood,
you're
yeah.
beating- I don't think we're
In all serious, how many France players get in the England team?
Every
Most of
single
them.
one of them. 27.
No,
You're having a laugh.
Okay. My nan would be the keeper. I'll give you
Okay,
Walker.
never played an international tournament.
Saliba,
He's never played an
Konate,
international tournament.
Theo Hernandez, Tchouaméni, Bellingham.
Hang on. Rewind. Right,
Rice.
the goalkeeper who's never played an international tournament starts over Pickford, who for England is
Mike
an
Moynihan.
unreal goal. Forget
Yeah,
him.
Moynihan's a great goalkeeper. I've known
You're
her
talking
years.
about one of the best keepers in the world.
Yes,
bro.
I know, but he's
Yeah.
never played an international tournament. And Pickford
He's
for
literally
England
one of the best keepers in the world. Let's not compare him to Pickford.
unreal. Right, who's France's right back? Because he ain't better than Kyle Walker.
Pavard, would it be?
Yeah, no chance.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
take
no.
Kyle Walker.
You go John
Okay,
Stones
Saliba,
and Saliba.
Konate. No, Saliba, Konate.
Saliba's not even starting for France, I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but who?
John Stones
Yeah, but still.
starts. John
No.
Stones 1,000,000% starts.
No, he
I
doesn't.
think he
You
still has a
can't tell me
goal.
left back because
He barely
Kieran Trippier is
played.
not
Okay.
left back.
You're taking the. you're
Declan
taking
Rice
the
has got to be in the midfield, surely. Declan Rice and Bellingham have got to be. And hang on a minute. No, fuck. Kobe Mainoo starts for France.
No.
Easy.
You're taking Rice, Bellingham, and Foden as your midfield.
No,
Whoa.
shut up, man.
No,
Shut up, man.
Camavinga has to get in there.
Camavinga has Tchouaméni as well.
Camavinga's
Tchouaméni.
better.
Yeah.
You put
Okay, who's
you put
France?
Bellingham in the 10. You put Bellingham in the 10. You have Rice in there and
Bellingham-
And
Camavinga.
Camavinga. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah.
And then you've
Who
got
plays on the right? Who plays on the right?
Saka.
Bukayo Saka.
I'll give him Saka. Give it
Then on
Saka.
the left,
And
back,
No, get Harry
Hugh
Curse
Foden
Kane
there.
out the team. Harry
Well,
Curse
hang
Kane
on,
is the
hang
reason
on, hang
England
on.
ain't
Wait,
beating
Saka,
France.
Kane, Saka,
Hang on,
Kane,
hang on.
and Mbappe on the left.
Yeah.
So there's 3 France players, 4 in our team.
So who we putting through, guys? Let's have a vote. So Henry's gone with England. What you going with, Kate?
I'm not backing.
Oh my god, I can't cope with. Do you know what? I feel like when I first come on the terrace all them months ago, when I had Tottenham fans saying we're winning the league, I'm going France to smash the granny out of us.
What you saying, Roms? What you saying, Roms?
France.
You
Joe?
choose France over. Oh, come on, man.
I got to go Didier Deschamps over Southgate all day.
Dio, if you're there. He's gone. Giuseppe?
Yeah, France. I'd like England, same as Italy and Germany. It's got France. It's France.
Fuck you guys.
Paddy?
Do you know what everyone else said?
La-
France.
La
I'm going to
Baguette.
say England.
La Baguette.
And look, I'm going with France as well. I am. Unfortunately.
Thanks for
I'm
that.
sorry. So if it's a France-Portugal final, who is winning?
La
Portugal.
France.
Well, in my head, it's France-Germany, and Germany wins. But if it's
Yeah,
France-Portugal, France win.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I got
with
France
that.
to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Why?
I just think their attack for me is just superior. Bar England, the things England didn't have Southgate. I actually make them my favourites. In all honesty, I think Southgate is holding us back. But I think France, other than England, have the most superior attack. And I just think them individuals just going to win them game. Griezmann, Mbappe, Camavinga, and Tchouaméni in the midfield.
Not
Yeah.
just their attack, their defence. Our defence is pony compared to France's defence.
Yeah, that as well. That as well.
Especially
I think that
Actually-
there's been a drop off on some of the players in the England squad that people aren't really being putting a microscope on. Like I think Kyle Walker's play in the last few international games has been shocking, like absolutely shocking. That's where I feel like a lot of their defensive stability really comes from like a 3 between those three, and then one person coming up. But
You're still
I
taking him over Pavard, though. I don't care what you say.
No, I mean, I'm not, bro. I'm not. But I'm just saying Walker at this current moment against like an Mbappe or against a Dembele is a liability. Like,
Well, he
is
did
a-
well
is
against
an
in the
absolute
Champions League
liability.
against him. He did well against Vinny in the Champions League. Not
Vinny
this
didn't
season,
look good
last
against the
season.
USA yesterday. So
Yeah, it's going to be. Look, for me, listen, France. England are the favourites with the bookmakers, but that's all. I think that's partly because so much money gets thrown on the bookmakers.
I used to work in the bookies. That's a key part of the odds. Like it's based on what people are backing. So
What they're batting, and
naturally,
people
yeah.
have a natural in England. I would love to know who the favourites are in France, who the favourites are in Germany, who the favourites are in Portugal. I bet it looks a little different, but
France
most
are the
of-
favourites in some countries because
most people are going to go for a France win. I'm actually predicting Portugal to win the whole tournament. I just think that, and I'm a little bit biased in this. They're the only other international team that I've watched quite a bit of in the last year, and I predominantly watch it to see how Bruno gets on. To be honest with you, and
Delo, don't forget. About
yeah, Delo's in the team, but I kind of watch it because I started watching Portugal because I was intrigued to see how different Bruno looked in a team that was playing well versus a team that looked poor. And I was really quite impressed with them. And I felt that the last couple of tournaments, I don't remember the name of their manager, that guy that looked like a wet tea bag. Who? Their manager.
I think Santos.
Santos. That man, I just felt that his approach to the game at the last two tournaments damaged the Portugal team that had the ability to win it. And I just feel this time, again, it's not confirmation, it's not bias confirmed. I watched them play. I think France are an amazing team. My pick to win it is Portugal. That's it. I mean, it's not a weird take to think Portugal.
I worry about Portugal in like the final stages of the tournament. That's the only thing, because Roberto Martinez has been prone to making mistakes in big tournament games.
I agree.
I'm shameless. I put a 5 on Germany to win it and Havertz to get golden boot. So,
but there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's the thing with when it comes to what you want, like, and what you think will happen. Like, I think Portugal can win it. I think they're a really good team. But people always go too far. Does that mean you think France are rubbish? No, France are amazing. They're probably I don't didn't win the World Cup, but I would say they're probably the best team in the world. France. It's just they didn't win the World Cup final, and a lot of that was due to the fact that Lionel Messi was playing. And they played that final again, and Messi wasn't in the Argentina team. I think it goes the complete and opposite other way, the game. So, yeah, look, I think it's going to be I'm so looking forward to this tournament. It's going to be really, really good. But viewers, go do your bracket now and go and get that done. Who do you think is going to be the Golden Boot winner?
Mbappe or Kane.
Havertz.
Nicholas Fulkrug.
Havertz.
Good shout.
You know what?
Are you
I'm gonna go with Cristiano Ronaldo. You know? I just think penalties, tap-ins. I just think he's gonna be there. I think Ronaldo will get the golden boot.
I think Mbappe is the safest bet, isn't it? Like, France are the favourites, and if they as great as it is, me wearing a Gaza shirt and Damier, if we come up against them, the space in behind of Mbappe, it is.
So you've gone and bottled it. Oh, you've bottled it.
You have to say Harry Kane
on England to win.
You have to say Harry Kane.
So we've gone with top.
I actually was going to say Harry Kane as golden boot. Personally,
Harry
Kane. I think Harry Kane's going to win the golden boot.
Harry Kane could do it. Who is going to be player of the tournament?
That's where I think Mbappe comes in.
Yeah, that's how I think it's going to
I think either Wirtz or Jamal Musiala, because I'm obviously back in Germany.
Yeah, Musiala's a good shout.
Bro, I'm going to watch more Germany games. I just remembered them two are going to start together.
I think we've written off Netherlands as well quite a bit in this whole thing, because I
they
think
just got 2-3 got injuries though too.
Yeah, Frankie de Jong is out.
Main players,
and they don't have that killer up top. They just don't have that number 9. Like,
you know what? Griezmann's a good shout for player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Just
Camavinga.
especially in international play.
I always feel more inclined to go for. I always feel inclined to go for strikers because they typically dominate the limelight in these. But I mean, if England could play well and deliver, Bellingham's got to be a shout as well. If he does for us what he's been doing for Real Madrid, he's got a shout there. Next one, I don't know what to name this, whether it's young player or a breakthrough player. Who's going to be the star young player of this tournament?
I think it's Kobe Mainu if Southgate's got the nudges to play him.
I think Lamine Yamal. Yeah, Lamine Yamal. I think he's going to light up this tournament. Honestly, what a talent.
I think Wirtz for Germany.
Who?
Wirtz. He counts as young, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Who's Wirtz? Kai Havertz.
No.
Florian Wirtz.
Oh, Florian Wirtz. Sorry. I just completely. I thought you were talking about Havertz. And I was like, what? Young breakthrough? Yeah. I would like it. I'd love it to be Mainu. As a Man United fan and as an fellow Englishman, I would love it to be Mainu. I'd love him to have that tournament of just absolute, Wayne Rooney-esque in 2004 without the injury. I'd love it. But I've got a feeling, that João Neves for Portugal could be a real star. And I rate Portugal. I've watched them a lot. He's someone that stands out to me. as someone that could as an outside shout.
Harry,
Cole Palmer's a shout as well. You know, Cole Palmer is definitely a shout.
You have a Portugal
I
top
don't know, bro. I
post.
think I don't
You have
know
one
if
in
Cole
the
will get
post.
as much opportunity.
I
as
never
people
wear
think
another
he
nation.
will.
I never wear another nation or club shirt ever.
This might be unpopular.
I don't know if Cole gets as much opportunity as people think in this tournament. I don't know.
Unpopular opinion.
I hope
think
he
it's
does
trash.
because I hope he proves it to the
Hang on,
world.
say that again, Giuseppe.
I
What did you
think
say?
Saka just gets over him. Like I don't think he gets.
Saka
his next
actually
opportunity.
rises for England, and so
Hang
I
on,
agree with you. I
rewind.
can't
Did you
see-
say Cole Palmer's trash?
No, I said unpopular
Me?
opinion. I think in the competition he's going to be a bit trash.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Not
he's
as
gonna
he ain't
play.
a trash player.
He's going to play Gordon instead, and it'll be
Well,
Yeah,
Right.
I just don't think he gets the
himself.
opportunity to prove himself in this tournament. Personally,
You know what? I rate Gordon, but I think the occasion is going to get the better of him. You know, and I've rated Gordon from at Everton, but I just think he might crumble under the pressure. I'm
We're just
worried
gonna
about
use
that
his
left
pacing
side.
behind. We're going to use his pacing behind. Cole Palmer
True.
and Saka like to come to the ball and then take the player on. He's pacing behind. The biggest question mark is going to be where's Declan Rice going to play? If Rice plays in the 8 and Mainoo's in the 6, then where do you play Foden? Because if we play Foden out on the left, he's not going to get any of the ball. If we play Rice in the 6, Bellingham in the 8, and Foden in the 10, then are we going to get the balance?
But you know what's interesting about the breakthrough player? Like when Michael Owen broke through in '98, he didn't start the tournament. Sometimes you get these players who don't start and then they get an opportunity, and they're the ones who I think take the tournament by the scruff of the neck. I mean, even more so sometimes. And so if we use Mainoo as an example, doesn't start the first game. We drew 1-1. Starts the second game or comes on in the second game and is a key influencer. His second game, our third game, he dominates, does well in the knockout stages. There's something about that makes him stand out more because of how it sort of started and how it ended type thing. So like, it's gonna be an amazing one. And yes, sorry, Jim. Yes, we do have a Kate lookalike on the show. Not as good looking, though, I will add. Not as good looking,
Thanks.
I will add. Emery there.
And an older lookalike, obviously.
When we
No,
say
about the same. You look about the same age. You look very young, Kate. You look very young, Kate. Is what I'm saying there. Well, I
Terry's after something.
didn't realize how young that young Italian forward was. I didn't realize he was 16.
Yeah, he come on for AC Milan this season. He's
Wait,
gonna be
who?
Quality.
what's the name?
He played for the under 17s won us the under 17s Euros.
What's the name of the guy though?
Yeah.
Let me
What's
get
the
up
name?
so I can pronounce.
So
it.
I'm talking about the Spanish forward,
Oh, Yamel.
Jamel.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was 16.
Terry,
Yeah, yeah,
he's
no,
doing
he's
homework.
insane.
He's
He's
doing homework
insane.
in the camp right now. He's
I've
actually doing homework.
I've heard of him.
Still in high school.
I've been so busy this last couple of weeks. I haven't looked at like all the other nations' squads like thoroughly. And when you mentioned him, I was like, when you said his name, I was like, I swear he's 16. What's he doing there? I didn't 16.
Yeah.
16. Jeez,
plays
I'm
for
literally
Barca.
old enough to be
He's really
bad.
good too. He's really good
Yeah.
too.
He
Yeah,
come
no,
out and said,
I've read and seen a lot about him. I just didn't realize he was there. I didn't look at the Spanish squad. Interesting.
he
They've got a lot
literally
of forwards.
said a couple of days ago, come out in the press and said, I'm literally doing homework in the camp. Like I'm doing
That's
homework.
mad.
So
Nuts.
he's crazy.
Joshua here says, wow, since Henry wanted to put the emphasis on international football, putting Kane over Giroud is laughable. One delivered for his country, the other one nearly broke the satellite in space.
Is Giroud actually in the squad?
Yeah.
No.
Is
he?
No,
He is,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
he?
he is.
Oh, is
Yeah,
there?
he is.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
looking at
then-
this. I had the France squad in front, the Spanish squad in front of me. I didn't see his name on it. I looked at the wrong one. Yeah, so yes, he is.
uncomfortable
He was
conversations.
born in
Is he-
Spain,
is
if
he-
that's worth anything.
Oh, was he? Is he still there? Is he still France's top goal scorer ever? Or
Yeah.
has Mbappe caught him yet?
No,
No, I think he has a couple more goals.
Isn't it
than
mad? That's what I love about international football. Olivier Giroud internationally has had a better career than Henry. It don't even make sense. You know, you think about like Closer for Germany. Like internationally, you could argue the best European striker of the last 30 years, arguably for what he did. But you would never say that at club level. I don't remember anything he did, especially in Europe. But just internationally, that you just get some players that
Does he still have the
thrive.
most World Cup goals?
Close, probably.
Yeah, it's closer, yeah.
It's closer.
And it's not close. It actually probably is.
I think actually Mbappe is pretty close, actually.
There we go. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has tuned in today. Please hit the like button before you leave. Make sure you are subscribing as well. We're back tomorrow with more transfer news, straight facts as well in the afternoon with man like Staffy and Dan Lawless. KJ saying goodbye. Hang on, I'm going to put KJ in for a minute. There he is saying goodbye to everyone.
Yes, everyone. I will be off on the plane to Germany. TST at the Euros. Let's go, man. Big up Terry for this.
But remember, you're working. You've got work to do every day. I'm not going to be there, but work. There's no work.
I'm hard. You know I'm a hard worker. You don't need to
I know that. I know that.
Right, look
Karen
out for
Amanda's email, by the way. We've got to go back to her tonight because the work starts tomorrow.
Already did that as well, boss.
Legend. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, I want to say a big thank you to each and every single one of you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. It's coming home.
No, it's not.
That's a